Hey, what's going on? This is video number 1 for today. This is Dakisha Williams, the webinar strategist and business strategist. I'm coming here today to talk a little bit about why I started my business. And if you are watching, if you're tuned in, even if you're watching the replay, do me a favor. I want you to comment below where you're tuning in from. And if you're watching the replay, tune in #replay. And then also, I want to know why you started your business. So I challenge my clients to do a why video. So for me, it goes back a little bit. There's a story behind why, really, seriously. But so my mother worked for DuPont, and if you're familiar with DuPont, it is a manufacturing job where you work 3 shifts. So it's like 8 to 4, 4 to 12, 12 to 8. And I was a little girl. Like I was like maybe 3 or 4 when she first got that job. And so I had a babysitter. So I stayed at a daycare center. It was an in-home daycare center. And I never knew that they kept kids overnight until I was one of the kids that used to spend the night. And so for 13 years, I spent the night at the babysitter's house. I did not go home for good until like 13. By the age of 13, you're too old to have a babysitter. So by that time, you're at that age where you can stay at home by yourself. And that's cool. I can remember my son and I riding down the street one day, and I said to him, I said, can you imagine if this was the first time that you were able to, stay home and you didn't have to spend the night in somebody's house? He was like, no. I said, well, as I was growing up, I used to stay at a babysitter's house until your age. So that was about 4 years ago. And, sometimes I can remember being lonely. Sometimes I can remember wanting to be at home in my own bed, Not that my mom let me go outside because we lived on the main street. So it wasn't like I could play outside in the front yard. And she didn't let me walk to the playground up the street. I had to go to my grandma's house for all that. But anyway, I still, you still missed and wanted to be home. And so I think as I got older, I told myself that I didn't want my kids to have to spend the night, at a daycare. Let alone, I don't even think I wanted my kids to go to daycare. Well, yeah, I did, because by the time they got a little bit older, I needed some me time. But, in the beginning, when they were little, I wanted to be home with them. I tried that whole stay-at-home mom thing. Not necessarily with Deja, which is my oldest, my daughter. I don't know if y'all can see her over there, right? So I had to work when I had Deja, so I had a job. By the time I had Jaden, I was married. So, I tried that whole stay at home. We was in Target every morning type of thing. Then I got old. Got old fast. I don't know about y'all, but I got old fast. And I was like, no, this is not going to work, And actually, I was a loan officer, so Jane used to go to work with me. But I think the guy that owned the mortgage company was a little tired of having the baby, the walker, the baby bouncer. I had everything in my office, So that's when I started working from home. And I went back to work. I used to be a district manager of 13 locations across 5 states. And so I would travel to Hartsfield International Airport, Charleston, South Carolina, Greenville, South Carolina, Maryland. I used to catch the train from the Richmond, Virginia area to the Washington, D.C. area. And I was gone all the time. And so by this time, Deja was probably 6. Jaden was going into kindergarten. And I really didn't want to miss out on recitals and award ceremonies and things like that, because I was always in Sandy, Utah, or traveling to my different store locations. So, God works in mysterious ways, and I was actually laid off twice. I remember I lost my job January, like 10-ish. We got an email that said the company has ceased operations, and we no longer had a company to go to work for. So it was the first time. Gina was like 4, so this is right before he went to school. Ended up going back. That was 2010. Ended up going back to work. So they brought us back probably later that year, around the summertime, and we opened 168 locations back up. But by that time, we had switched management. The new regional manager that I had, we used to bump heads, so we just did not see eye to eye. By that time, I was super stressed out, and it was causing my anxiety to trigger, and I used to have panic attacks on the road. So August 24th, 2011, I went on leave of absence, and I'm still on leave of absence, # longest leave ever. But it wasn't like, when I was in school, it was like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an entrepreneur. I know. That's never really understood what it meant to be an entrepreneur or to run your own business. Not without having a regional manager or, a COO to call, or a CEO to call, or HR to call. Because I was a assistant manager since the age of 16. So I've always been in management, always been in leadership roles, always ran somebody else's company on somebody else's dime. So I never really, understood what it meant to run your own company on your own dime. Yeah, that part. So it has definitely been an eye-opening experience. I have been able to, be present for both of my children, both in the classroom and, on the turf or in the gym. And I think it has truly helped me grow as an individual and as a leader, as a mother, as a business owner, as a coach, as a consultant, as a strategist, you name it. So ultimately now what I strive to do is I strive to help my clients not make the mistakes that I made as I built my company from scratch. This is not a company that someone left to me. This is a company that I built from scratch. And so, my vision is to leave it to one of my children. I don't know, Deja's, she's a corporate baddie now. So, she doesn't really want to run the company. So maybe Jane will step in. What y'all think? But no, seriously, in the event, when my time comes or something happens, the business is set up where all they have to do is, jump in and be able to communicate with the team. Several of you don't know, we have several entities that come with the Vision Enterprise brand, which is our mother company. So we have the consulting firm, which is most of our coaching is done under Vision Consulting. But we also have a virtual assistance business called YourOutsourcingClub.com, which if anyone's looking for a virtual assistant, we do several different things where we our team will become your team. And we also own a software company, which is the YOC Systems, which is an all-in-one software that we use for our clients and for our internal team as well, where it does everything. It builds our funnels, it builds websites, blogs, calendars, pipelines, or CRMs. Like, it's everything in one system. And we are officially launching our Visions publishing company. So, for those of you all that may say, oh my God, I don't know what it is that you do. Like, when I say that Visions Enterprise, we're building an enterprise. So I am all about building legacy, building wealth for my children, for my family. So if you ever wondered, what brought you here, Keisha? That's my story. That's my journey. All right. So that's it for today. I might have to post this video on my website or something. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so if you're not a part of the Profit Producers group, make sure that you jump into our private Facebook group. If you are interested in creating consistent revenue and leads in your business, go to www.createconsistentleads.com. That's www.createconsistentleads.com. All right, I'll see you next time.